Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back. The podcast club.
Woo!
This is Brennan.
Hey.
This is Ella.
Yeah, this is Dasha.
Woo!
Woo! Hi.
Brennan is our teacher and our guest today.
Mm-hmm.
And we've met Brennan in our first semester
Mm-hmm.
here because you were substituting in one of our classes, first day seminar.
Very, like, I don't really remember what we learned. But
I don't remember what I taught.
But I remember you being our substitute teacher. And from then on out, we see you in the halls.
It's the nicest thing
And
anyone's ever said to me.
yeah, and now, lo and behold, we have you for a very own
Thank
teacher.
you for
That's super
having me.
awesome.
Yeah,
thanks
That's
for
so
coming
cool.
on.
I remember also seeing you when I was still living in Manhattan. I was living in West 4th Street.
Okay.
And I saw you there in subway and we were like
Oh, that's
scared
right.
of each other and then
Yeah.
we didn't talk, we just like
Hi.
hi.
Yeah. I was going to my other job, I remember, and it was like, you're not supposed to know that as a professor, I still make lattes for half of my living. I don't do that anymore, but which
Woo.
is fine.
you see, I don't
but I was
remember
like,
that.
oh no, well, I didn't tell you because I was like, I
I don't want this chick knowing that
I don't want you to know. Like, I don't
Make
want to break
latte.
that aura of mystique. Oh god.
Oh, don't worry, you've done plenty of other things to break the teacher
I'm-
aura.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, hey you guys, real quick. Click the link below. Make sure to donate. You know what to do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we usually start from the like small game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
Let's
have
play a game.
what were we talking about?
If you were to steal somebody's career
Okay.
as an actor.
I know, it's tough because you want to
That's-
say no once because I'm unique, but
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
would
I'm
like
like
you to.
almost unique. There's like a part of me that wants to say Philip Seymour Hoffman, but like without the heroin.
let me look it up. I don't know
But
who that is.
like steal somebody's career. Oh, that's so hard. Like I want to steal Meryl Streep because she's done like film and she's done TV and you know she's done movies, or that's what film is, and plays. But like, then I want to also do like voiceovers and video games, and I think really for a long time, like when I was younger, I was always like, oh, I want to be like Philip Seymour Hoffman. And then I had a teacher tell me like, baby, you got more emotional depth than Philip Seymour Hoffman. And I was like, what the fuck? I don't know how to take that. Stealing somebody's career, that's tough. There's a part of me that's always wanted to be the guy who like, you don't know my name, but like you've kind of seen my face sometimes, so I can still like walk around.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know,
That's
like,
true,
I
because
would-
once you get to a certain
yeah.
point, you can't kind of have a
You
normal
can't,
life.
yeah.
But think about that.
Yeah, growing up, I think the big influences for me getting into acting were Chris Farley, because I was like that
Okay.
funny dude, love him, and John Candy was another person, and Robin Williams. Just
Okay.
like it was always like comedy for me that really made me. So like Robin Williams is probably like a big one. Yeah, I think I kind of want to steal everybody's career ever and put it into a chest and then breathe it in.
So like you want to do work but not to be famous enough? So
Yeah.
you're like famous to the point that you cannot like walk and enjoy your,
Yeah,
like,
I
day-to-day
think
life.
I think that like being famous and making art, if you want to be like I'm making art, it's not famous people can't make art, they can.
Yeah.
But being famous, I think, is a whole other job. I'm guessing because I'm not famous, so like I don't know, but I'm gonna guess.
No, I hear what you're saying though, because it's like every aspect of your life then changes.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that when I answered this question. At first.
Who would it be for y'all?
I did think about it. That's why I chose. I was thinking between two people, between Emma Stone and Jodie Comer. Yeah,
Okay.
I told you that
Yeah.
too. And Jodie Comer, she was in The Free Guy. She was in Killing Eve. She was. She had one woman show on Broadway.
Awesome.
Prima Facie. She was in Last Duel. She was doing so many different stuff. Stage work, film work, TV
That's
work.
awesome.
It's like, and she's not like that famous.
Yeah.
She's there. You saw her, like you could recognize her, but like she's just there and she's amazing. I think she's one of the best actors I've ever seen.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, like I would love to have her career.
Fuck yeah.
Emma
Alright.
Stone was also on my list
I
for
love her.
that. And same sort of reason, like genre. I want to be able to do a little bit of everything, and like I recently have seen some of her really old stuff, and it's fun to watch her growth. But she's always been really like committed and involved. My other option was Keira Knightley,
She's great.
because again for range
Yeah.
and range not just in genre, but like in amount of like softness or hardness that she can play. I don't know. I find like when answering all these questions, I always come back to range.
Yeah. That's fascinating.
Yeah,
Like,
because I want to do a little bit of everything.
and we talk about range, we talk about like mediums that we want to work in, and I think it's hard to answer this question because then it turns into like, well, who do I think I am perceived as, and who, like, you know, what types am I like? But it really, I think, does come down to range and like emotional range, but also like mediums that I'm working in.
Yeah, because coming to Jodie Comer, she was playing a psychopath in Killing Eve, and she was playing like what she was in her one-woman show. She was playing a lawyer who protects men who were accused in sexual abuse, and then she becomes a victim of sexual abuse.
Oh shit.
It's just very I don't know. I think it's very interesting how one person can do all of it
Yeah.
in one thing. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Segue into the next part of this though.
Yeah.
Who would Hollywood cast to play you in a movie about your life?
And who would you cast?
To play you in a movie about your life.
Okay.
If you want to think someone,
Yeah.
No, I think. Do I think? I think I would be like, if we're gonna go with like, you know, well-known actors, not me playing myself. I think Hollywood would probably choose like Zach Galifianakis.
who's that?
He's
He's the guy who does Between Two Ferns. It's like where Hillary Clinton was on it. Like he's invited celebrities,
Yeah.
but also like some politicians. And he Hangover series.
You seen The Hangover?
He's the like
The bearded guy. I get a lot of like, somebody once was like, you're like Seth Rogen. I was like, I'm nothing like Seth Rogen. It's just, or like Jonah Hill, maybe like 4 years ago when he was bigger. Yeah, I think Hollywood would kind of go for like a
one of the
doofy,
funny-
nerdy, funny kind of big white guys. That's, you know, I don't know who I would cast.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of want to go weird and go like.
I want
you
weird
know,
with
like, yeah,
mine.
I want to go weird. I want to go like, you know, I don't know. Like, this is really weird. Like Sylvester Stallone. Like something that makes no sense, right? Like absolutely no sense. But no, I would probably go with like a Zach
Cillian
Galifianakis kind of guy. Yeah. Oh my God. That would be like a dream. I think my girlfriend would love if I looked like Cillian Murphy.
Well,
Yeah.
it's Cillian Murphy.
Well,
He's
I
short,
mean,
though.
he's very
Sorry,
attractive.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, I'd probably go with like, or like John Goodman. I love John Goodman. I don't know if you know
Who's,
John Goodman. He
what's
was on
he on?
Roseanne. He's the dad. Oh wow, I'm old. It's fine.
No, I
If
know
for,
about Roseanne.
Yeah, for the older people out there, you know, like John Goodman. Like I my life, I think. I don't know. Now I have to think about my life. Oh, What are
Right.
you doing to me?
Feel
It's a tough one.
uneducated, very
Yeah.
much. Feel very much uneducated.
Mm-hmm.
I usually don't feel that way. Thank you,
No,
Brennan.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, as your instructor. No, I think it's that generational gap that we
Yes,
have. You
yeah.
know, like we grew
Yeah,
up watching different
absolutely.
things. And,
That's the thing.
yeah.
They don't always transfer down. I know of Roseanne. I'll say that.
It was cool. Roseanne was one of my favorites because growing up, I feel like a lot of the sitcoms were like, we are rich friends living in Manhattan. And I know in Friends, they're like, well, Monica has the apartment because her grandmother. Like, fine, but like, there
Nobody
was
would have an
always,
apartment.
you know,
and
all of
Sex in the City carries.
Yeah. They
Yeah,
never
all
really
of them.
talk about money, and I think one of the first episodes of Roseanne I really watched, like, Roseanne was like, she gets a phone call from the phone company, and she's like, oh, drats, I forgot to sign the check to pay for my bill. Oops, I'll send another one. And I was like, oh, wow, this feels like me. This feels like watching a middle-class family just trying to make it in America. And then Roseanne, like, turned into some batshit crazy stuff. So whatever.
Okay, cool.
Who would you pick to play you?
I think
Like each other?
Hollywood would.
Absolutely.
I think Hollywood would probably cast Saoirse Ronan just because that's who I've been told I look like the most.
I see it.
And also I think my life would probably be a coming of age story, and I think she is present in a lot of those. I would hire Jack Black to play me.
Why didn't I say
Why
that?
didn't-
I fucking love
I was
Jack.
trying to-
Jack Black, play
Jack
my
Black.
life. You won't have to do much. You'll have to sit and drink coffee and chain smoke.
See, that's suitable. I think
Yeah.
for me, my reason is just he's so prominent. Like his energy, I think he could fill my shoes, and he might be the only one to be able to.
That's amazing. I'm stealing your answer.
Good steal.
That's
Steal
awesome.
it.
Who would you pick? What was
My answer is boring after that.
No, that can't be boring.
Well, because I was thinking about Emma Stone and Jodie Comer about answering question whose career I would steal, I said that I would cast Emma Stone or Jennifer Lawrence. Because
Wonderful.
I think I don't even have to speak about it.
Your life's a little bit more of a drama.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's not true.
No, I'm joking around. I'm joking around.
No, because they're
Tragic
funny.
comedy.
Because both
Yeah.
of them are funny. They're a funny duo, and I think that both they can bring something cool into my character
That's
that
awesome.
probably I don't have, and they would do it more interesting. I don't know how to like right now. The movie about Bob Marley is coming out.
Yeah.
And a lot of people does not like him, and a lot of people do see him as a hero. So I believe that the actor who is playing, he will bring something specific. Like for example, the actor, I already seen like a lot of comments of, oh, he's so hot and blah blah blah. It's already something that you're bringing to the character, to the real historical figure. You know? So that's why I thought that maybe they could do something cool. Like I could be cool because they could play it. You know what I mean?
You're already cool, but I hear that. I totally,
Yeah.
That's cool.
Cool. Yeah, but so this was all brought up. We got this as an assignment for one of our first things, and I was like, oh,
That's cool.
interesting to think about other
Yeah.
people's careers. I don't know. I've never been a huge like, who's my favorite actor person. Until,
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I did
Like, I
have
don't
a
have to be to
professor
respect
once
people.
say, like, if you're having troubles coming up with, like, tactics or objective or just the overall tone or, like, the how you're trying to do something and you're stuck, he said that what he would do is he would think about another actor playing that part and think about how they would do it and just steal it. Kind of, you know, like, or let it sort of inform a choice.
I've heard about that.
Absolutely, because that's how I act. For example, like I've seen people acting in a specific way in a specific situation, and I'm just stealing their mannerisms, like in their actions, to my work. And they're not famous; they're just like regular people. So it's the same thing. You take in patterns and like to show different things. So
You learn from the people around you.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you're doing. It's cool.
We had this class with our technique and scene study teacher, Mike. He's new to us. He, I don't know why I'm telling the whole story, but we had another teacher, Diana, and she left she went to Florence to teach there this semester, and he's substituting her right now, and he said something about being nice partner, nice scene partner, and being a good scene partner.
Okay.
And that's something that actually made me think about ego as well.
Huh.
Because, maybe let's start and do it step by step. Yeah. So like nice, being a nice partner and being a good partner. Like what's the difference between all those things?
Yeah.
A nice scene partner would be someone who's like, okay, your objective is to get me to leave the room. Oh, I like you. Someone won't fight you super hard on it because they want to look out for, or maybe they'll like make sure. I don't know. It can get anticipatory. I'm not explaining it very well, but then like a good scene partner makes it more challenging, so that your scene partner has more of an obstacle against them to reach your opposing objectives.
Yeah. It's a really delicate balance, I think, to strike. When I was in undergrad, I had a teacher lead us through this exercise where, I don't know if you've done this, you do a scene where one person, you know, sometimes in high school they would do like, you know, oh, well, your line is fuzzy whatsies, and your line is hootenanny, and you have to have a conversation just saying this, and I was always like, what the fuck is this bullshit? Give me some real words. So this teacher in undergrad said to us, like, I was partnered with my classmate Lauren, who ended up leaving, but she was amazing. and her line was please, and my line was either yes or no. And I was told your line is essentially no until you feel like you can say yes. I was like, okay. So she was saying, please, no, please, no, please. And she was doing a really wonderful job, and I was doing the thing, whatever. And there was a moment where she said please, and I was like so tempted to say yes. And I knew that I should, but there was that part of me that was like, I want to make it harder for you. Because that's the goal, is to still remain that obstacle when this sort of moment happened. Maybe the goal isn't to remain the obstacle, but it's to be, a tough scene partner. And I said no. And I remember I could hear my teacher being like, and she said please one more time. And the way that she said it, oh my God, it broke my fucking heart. And I was like, yes, absolutely, yes. And my teacher afterwards kind of reamed me out a little bit, where he's like, you had the impulse to say yes, and you knew that you should have said yes. Like, that was the moment, and you made her work extra hard for it when she didn't need to. And like, it's fair, but I had the impulse, and I knew that I should have said yes. I think what I'm trying to get at is, like, if we're trying to, like, really hard to be that obstacle or to be someone who's going to hold you accountable, that's fine. But if they do truly move you to give in, then that's the moment. Like, that's the moment where you have to go, yes, absolutely. Like, I think a polite scene partner is going to be like, oh, well, the line says this, so I'm going to move here. And that's just adjusting to the text. We don't have to adjust the text. The line, sorry, could be, sorry. Well, I'm sorry for that. And you as the scene partner can say, okay, well, that's the best I'm going to get. But it's going to inform the way you continue to play the scene. I think there's a difference, and as we're having this conversation and the way we talk in class, I'm constantly like, well, I had a professor who said this, and I had a professor who said that, because it informs so much of how I really view this stuff. And I had a professor, Shelley, if you ever watch this, I love you and I miss you. She said that polite was middle class for lying. And she said, as an actor, you can't be polite. She goes, as a human, you have to be polite. Because if you go to a coffee shop and you're like, oh, can I have, macchiato, and they make it wrong, and you, what the fuck, or you're not polite to the person there. Like, we are polite even to people who are mean to us in order to survive throughout the day.
We have to.
We have to.
Yeah.
Like, I was on the phone with, like, an insurance company, and this lady's like, what do you want? And I was like, fuck you. But that's not going to get me what I want, so I had to be, well, okay, this is what I'm looking for, whatever. So being polite, everyday life, great. But being a polite scene partner it just doesn't work, because there's like this invisible fuzzy barrier in front of us that says to me, well, you're my scene partner, and I know you as a human, and if you're friends with your scene partner, well, that's my friend. And it's not like I want to pull my punches in order to save my friend. It's not a conscious thought. I think it's a subconscious thing of like, I don't want to go there so deeply because I just met you. This is day 2 of rehearsals. What the fuck? But a non-polite scene partner in the scene isn't going to pull punches. Is not going to just give up or let that obstacle sort of pass just because, well, we're 2 humans and I should be polite. You don't have to be a polite actor. You should be a polite scene partner. Like, when you're done, if you have a really emotional scene, look, I'm contradicting myself. Like,
No,
you do the check-in, you say hello, like, hey, are we okay? And maybe you're not okay. I've had a scene partner that was like, don't come near me right now. And I was, okay. Like, that, fine. Like, we can check in later. Like, you want to be a polite person when you're working on scenes, but when you're actually in the scene itself, if your line is fuck you and you want to say it with all that fucking vitriol and spite and acid reflux, then say it. Because the person on the other side of that scene knows that you're just working. And then you can check in later and be like, hey, I still care about you, even though, I told you to drop dead. Hey, drop dead. That's not, what's that gonna do? Hey, I wish you would drop dead. That's a shitty line reading. I don't know. Now I'm just going on and on.
I was because I mentioned ego, and you said you said something about being accountable, like keep your partner accountable, and the same thing, how to keep a line between being egotistical and saying that like, oh, look at me, I'm keeping you accountable and I'm being a good partner, so like I'm not following my impulse to say yes, and I'm pushing harder so you can work harder, you know.
Yes.
But line between that and between like oh, okay, I'm keeping you accountable, but I also need to keep myself accountable of like what am I doing, and am I doing it because I have this power of like working in the scene and I can be a good partner, or I don't know, it's like you see it's very like
so I just cut you off.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
I really, because I would go.
Well, I think the you're right. There's like an egotistical nature to that. If your intention is, I want to hold you accountable because in this scene, as your scene partner, the script and the dramatic tension and the structure dictates that I need to be an immovable object. You can't be an immovable object. Your partner's actions, their words, how they treat you, have to affect you in a certain way. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think you can go into a scene and say, well, as my character, I am this specific obstacle that they need to get over. And once they get over it, the scene will resolve, they'll be in Shangri-La, they'll be in whatever, and everything will be fine, and now the scene is over. That's not true. I think step one for any scene is get the fucking attention off of yourself. This isn't about you. If you two are scene partners, this is about her, and this is about her. And so if your full attention is on one another, well, the beauty of it is you both have full attention on each other. The scene is about both of you. And ultimately, I think that if we remove like, I am like the king of playing given circumstances. Ooh, I'm scared, you know. And it's something that I work on. It's something as an actor, I'm constantly like, stop playing the given circumstances. They're there, let them inform you.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
It's hard, and it's a hard thing to do, you know. I think I said to your class, like, you know, oh, well, all you got to do is do this thing, and you're like, wow, that's so easy. I'm like, yeah, but it's the same thing as like, well, just go make more money, you know. Like, it's easier said than done. But I think by removing the ego, it becomes more about, if your attention is on one another, it's more about what is the change that you are looking for in one another. Like, if you're in a domestic scene where, you know, you've wronged her in some way and you want an apology and you want a real apology, and at a certain point the line is sorry, but her attitude has been so shitty that you're like, all right, well, sorry I did that thing. That's not what you're looking for, because that's not a real heartfelt apology. So now it becomes, I'm not seeing the change in this person that I want, so I'm going to continue treating you. No, well, fuck you. I want a real apology rather than, well, as a scene partner, you're not giving me, I'm going to make it harder for you. You know, it's more about, I'm not getting what I want out of you, Cool. Not just I'm not getting what I want. It's I'm not getting this change that's within you. And if you frame it like that, then you'll constantly be curious about what the other person is doing, how they're changing, and it becomes less about, this is my objective, and more about, I want you to change, I want you to do this thing, I need you to do this thing, but it's about them. It's not about us.
Beautifully
You
said.
answered.
No, really beautifully said. We in class today we were talking about objectives once again. Always back to the once. I really liked how it was explained to me this time, because I have big frustrations with it. And so it was explained where it's like, okay, you have the verb, and then you have the person, and then you have the desired outcome. And like that's kind of your formula for setting up an objective. And I liked it too. And like there were a lot more in-depth stuff. But what that's reminding me of is like, so for me, I have a lot of blockages like when someone tells me to play a verb, or like when I'm trying to get like a verb out of somebody that doesn't click with me. Like it pulls me back into like actor breakdown side.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like the desired outcome thing. No, I'm happy. It's like, feels like confirmation. It's like focus on the desired outcome from this person that I want you to get.
Absolutely.
And so I had a question that I kind of answered for myself. But like, so in terms of all this ego and scene partner, all of this stuff, it's like, if you're working with somebody that is not, I don't know, it's like, it doesn't even seem to be on the same page with you in the scene. Like, maybe you've broken it down with them, but it's like, we're not... But my answer to it was, even then, it almost influences me more to try to get the thing that I want, because now I'm really not getting the thing that I want. But how do you take... Well, I don't know. I think it's just time. But, like, taking ego out of the practice of it, of, like... This isn't always going to go the way that it needs to go. And that's just...
Yeah.
But again, sorry.
No, what were you gonna say?
I was just about like to ask, then what is the way that it needs to go? Like, you never know how it's supposed to go, the scene, right? It's always
Yeah.
different. Every scene, I can do one scene and it's always different.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think you ever know. I don't know, sorry.
No, it's fine. I think sometimes as actors we have this desired outcome of how it's supposed to go. Like, are you ever in a rehearsal and someone's saying a line and the director's like, I kind of need a little more this, and they're dancing around a line reading and you go, I know exactly how they want them to say that line. But then when it comes to you, you're like, okay, and the director's doing that dancey thing and you're like, why can't I figure it out?
All of
Because
the
it's about
time.
us. Yeah, that
All
happens
of
to
the
me all the
time.
time. Like, I could play your part in a
Yeah,
second, but I
literally
can't
all
play
the time,
mine.
but
Like, what's
any
going
part
on?
that I'm given,
I'm like, oh,
the time.
it's really it's fat.
What's that about?
I don't know. I think it's just because we take in, when we're playing a character, we're thinking about so many things that it's hard to. Sometimes it's hard to move. I'm like, oh, I'm in Jello, and we just get stuck because we're thinking about objective, and we're thinking about tactics, and we're thinking about who that person is to me, and what's my cue, and when's my entrance, and what is all this thing.
Can't step too far to the left.
No, you can't do that. But it's also because when you're playing your own character, it's higher stakes.
Yes.
You know, like
yeah.
when you're watching a
Yeah.
scene, like, you know, I can watch a scene in a play I'm doing, and I'm like, oh, this is what's going on, okay. And then I'm like, all right, now it's my turn. Like, I can't look outside of it
Yeah.
because I'm in it, you know. And so I think sometimes that we have this, well, this is how the scene is supposed to go. It's written in the text that this happens, then this happens, and then we make up, and then everything's fine, and then in the next scene, you've stolen all of my hot dogs and I'm pissed again. Like, you know, so we have this moment of the release, and I think the release is really important. You know, as the scene is starting to dwindle, there's sort of that moment where, like, okay, we've sort of gotten here, and either the lights are gonna dim, or we're gonna pick back up again, right? So I think sometimes that's like one of my favorite phrases. I think sometimes we have this viewpoint of this desired outcome, and maybe your scene partner isn't doing it in the way that we just instinctively think it's supposed to go, which is way more beautiful than, oh, well, in my head, this is how the scene is supposed to
Then
go.
we can have
Because-
actual surprise.
Yeah, actual surprise
Yeah.
for the what are you curious about? I'm curious about this moment. And I think what you're kind of touching on too, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but are we sort of talking about that moment where you have that, like, my scene partner's not giving me anything? Do you know what I'm talking about? Is that what you're... No, not at all. Okay.
That
You
was
want
drama.
to... It's okay, you know. And
It's
look,
there. I would say it's there.
It's
Yeah.
there, right? And I think part of it, look, and I know that maybe it's difficult because we're talking in a school setting, and everybody's
And we're all
learning
training.
You're all training.
And I respect everybody
Yeah.
and their own process of work.
Absolutely. This is the time to fuck shit up.
Yeah.
This is the time to suck.
Yeah.
I suck
That's
all
what
the
I'm
time.
trying to get reminded about.
Yeah.
I was talking about this last week. I don't know. I'm very cyclical of this thought right now, but it's just like being a perfectionist is like killing the work that I'm doing because I'm so afraid of it being bad that I'm not even letting myself.
Yeah. Be free.
Be free.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. There.
Yeah.
What needs to be perfect?
Nothing.
The one take
no,
that you're
it's,
doing.
I also
you know?
like perfect is boring.
Yeah, perfect. And maybe you have a performance where you're like, that wasn't perfect, but like I feel fulfilled. That's way more.
Yeah.
That's way better
Important.
than, you know. And I hear you, because like there is the perfectionist in me that's like, I need to get this right. You know. One of my favorite shows ever is called Slings and Arrows. I love it. It's about like a Shakespeare theater company in Canada, and there's a moment they're doing Hamlet, and the actress playing Gertrude has this moment where she's in her dressing room, the director comes in, and he's talking about there is a willow grows aslant a brook speech where she comes in and she's talking about Ophelia, and he says, well, maybe like this is her trying to trying to lie to them, like Ophelia has unalived herself, and this is her trying to be like, no, she fell, like I'm gonna save her reputation so she can be buried, and all that like Danish Christianity thing that was happening, whatever. So she's like, but Jeffrey, this changes my whole, my whole scene. And he's like, well, think of it as your last chance to get it right. And I think there's something beautiful about that, but also something very constrictive. Like, there is no getting it right, The script is there. The given circumstances are there. The story's gonna get told no matter what happens. And if your scene partner, like, let's be real actors, we have all said, I guarantee you've said, my scene partner's not giving me anything. They're not giving me anything. And I've had teachers say, well, then you must take it from them. And like, what does that mean? Like, you can't perform for them.
Yeah.
You can't take this out of them. And I think the way I like to look at it now is, if they're not giving you anything, that's giving you something.
Yeah.
If the line is like, sorry, and you want real change from them, and they say, sorry, and they're trying hard to act, and I'm sorry, and it comes out fake, then you're still just not getting what you want. And at the end of the scene, if it's, okay, well, we're gonna move on from here, your actor brain may say, okay, we're gonna move on and everything's fine, but it's not fine, and it doesn't have to be fine. The scene can end with, then we're gonna move on from here, okay? And that's just a different way the scene gets played.
Yeah. I think it's coming back to the presence that we were talking in your class, and how the book, Letters to Young Artists, talk about the presence, and I think that's the only maybe way out of this. You just need to be present and see what your partner gives you.
Which is that easier said than done thing. Oh, all you have to do is be present and like, here. But, you have that conversation, and I'm sure you're like, what's my next line? Did I pick up the do I look stupid with this water bottle on my head? Whatever it is. We have 8 trillion thoughts going on, and we have to slow down and just be, okay, I'm here with you, and what is it? And make eye contact. And that's even step 1. Making eye contact is really hard, It's like, oh my God, we're looking at each other. This is so weird. Are you okay? All right. But yeah.
Especially knowing that you're both like acting right now. Like, we're both looking at each other and like we're friends, but like now we're doing
but like
some
we're
shit.
pretending to be doing a scene, and I sometimes I think that if we can let that go and just, okay, well, that is your friend. Yeah. And you're just doing a scene. Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes I think like the older that I've gotten, the more all of this has come up in my acting, is because like now I'm so aware of, okay, I'm doing a scene with my friend right now. Rather, like when I was it was literally just playing when I was a kid.
For sure.
Or even a couple years ago, it was just whoop-de-doo.
And I'm gonna make this line sound good,
and
because
like
that's what it means.
Exactly. And it all felt like there was less stakes to it now, and now because the stakes are risen. Yeah. Talking about being present, though, tips and tricks to be present. Something that I was thinking about today, this is actually going to tie in a lot of things here. So all of this sense memory stuff, but like really cluing into what's going on around you from your senses.
Yeah.
I was working on that a little bit, and can help me be present in the space. But then it's like, how do you layer in being present in the space and then being present with your partner, and like still envisioning the train car going by me?
Yeah. Well, when you say being present in the space, like what do you specifically mean? Or
like in my imagination, I'm very able to like if I were just kind of sitting here in silence for 5 minutes, I could really build a space around me with my eyes open, and for whatever the scene may be, have what I feel about the things around me be there. And I feel very like confident in my like ability to live in that space and to see the clock on the wall.
Yeah.
But the second that like a person comes into that space, it breaks the reality of what I just allowed myself to live.
Got you. Okay. So like the being present in the space as like, if let's say we were doing, like let's pretend, right, there's a fourth wall here and there aren't cameras here and they're not watching it, right? Yeah, and it's like, oh, well, hello, At a certain point, you just, I think personally, this is, I think, one of the beautiful things about acting is that this isn't doctrine. This isn't like, well, I read about this in Stanislavski. This is just me. This is the way I have to operate. And if it's a play or if it's a scene, there are cameras here, and there's audience members here. Like, I think sometimes if we work really hard, now, like, other actors may be like, Brennan, how dare you? But, like, sometimes, man, fuck the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Like, if you spend so much time building this fourth wall, like, I don't know if building the fourth wall is so important to telling a story. Now, the train going by, if that's important to the story, or like the cold, the sense memory of the cold, if it's important to the story,
I like that. Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, okay, well then I do need to at least do enough homework to like feel, okay, if it's cold, I like to look at it like with the sense memory thing, if it's cold, what does that do to my body? Not, you know, I'm cold. Don't you see that I'm cold? It's just, what does that do? I was very cold in my apartment today, and I was like putting on a blanket, and I was kind of like holding myself a little bit because I was in my pajamas and it was cold. And I was like doing a lot of like little things and just letting that change our body, change our perception. Like being present in the space like that, firm agree. Think it's wonderful. I think sometimes if you're spending so much time trying to be present in the space, maybe that's not helpful to you. Because once you come in, you're present in the space. You are present in this space right now. You're all present in this space. I can see you, you know, not like in the not in the internet, but like I see you. I know that you're here, right? You have presence because you showed up. And you've walked on stage or you've walked on camera to be in the scene. But to be present with somebody, the biggest tip is do your homework. Know your lines, know what you want from them, know how you feel about them, and now you can just be.
This reminds me.
Easier said than done, I know.
Easier said than done. No, but it's, so at my new place of work, I have a few more actor friends, which is fun to like talk with actors of different ages from different programs.
Nice.
It's very interesting, but there's this, I think, sometimes trap that we fall into where it's like, I don't want to over-rehearse because I'm afraid that I'll kill it. And I think, like, the way through that is, like, if you over-rehearse to a point where it's like, okay, I've done this 10 million times the same way and I'm exhausted and bored of it, do it one more time. To, like, if you know it so well that you don't even have to think about it, I think then can you be fully new and surprised because you really don't have to think about your lines. You really don't have to even think about the technical aspects of it.
Yeah.
And I haven't done that in a long time.
You can just trust impulses.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the big thing. And trusting impulses, you know, like if you're doing Meisner stuff, you can't do an entire play or entire scene where you're just going off of impulse, because that's going to be like spaghetti and jello flying everywhere. Like at a certain point, you have to hone it in to specific choices, to specific moments, you know, and that's the rebuilding element of it that I personally find like really hard. Not really hard, but I find it a little difficult because personally I want to like let this fly. But if we're doing a scene where like this relationship is falling apart and all of a sudden I want to start doing my lines like I'm Mickey Mouse. Don't sue us, Disney. But if I want to start doing that, that is a bad impulse. Like I'm gonna be real, and I don't want to, you know, there's no bad choice. That's a bad choice, right? So like, but I wouldn't go there if I'm fully invested in this emotional part of the scene. Over rehearsing, I don't know. I understand what you mean. I think over-rehearsing comes in if you're like, this is how I'm going to say my line because this shows what tactic I'm playing, what objective I have, and how I feel about that person. And so now my line is, why are you here? Why are you here? You know, and I'm gonna put that over the bread. You know, I'm gonna put that over the line. This is how I'm gonna say the line. Versus being so rehearsed that you know your lines, you know when they're gonna come in short, but you know your lines. See, look, like, you know, hey, that's fine. If you're so rehearsed and that's not supposed to happen, so you ignore it, you can't ignore that.
That just happens.
This happens. That's okay. This happens. If you're so rehearsed and you're like, well, that doesn't actually happen in the scene.
So we're going to ignore it.
So we're going to ignore it. The audience is going to go, why aren't they paying attention to the painting that almost fell down? Like, now they're out of it. And now your scene partner's out of it because they're like, why aren't you paying attention? You know, a sane, rational person would just flip this back up, but like, I'll probably do more damage, so I won't do it. But we have to recognize that. If you're so rehearsed that you're like, well, that doesn't faze me because I'm only fully present on my scene partner, that's gonna throw things off. You know, if we're doing this, you know, and all of a sudden that happens and you're like, man, that's funny. Our painting almost fell down. I know that, you know, you fucked my brother and we're breaking up right now, but like, okay, that allows for a little laughter. Okay, now let's get back down to business. Who's taking the cat? What the fuck, man? Like, you get back into it, even if you're aware of your surroundings, you know? So rehearsals aren't like ice cream where you can over-churn it and all of a sudden, like, you know, it's not ideal. Like, rehearse the fuck out of these things. Like, please, rehearse.
Come
and that
with me,
goes,
please.
But that goes back to being a good scene partner and not being polite of like, dude, we have to rehearse. Like, I've had scene partners that are like, I don't want to do it today. And frankly, but there are times where like, I don't want to do it either. I don't want to do it either.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do a line through, let's talk a little bit, and let's move on, okay? And then we'll come back when we're ready. Because you can only work when you're really ready to do it.
Yeah.
Wow, I just talked a lot.
No,
What a
Brennan,
shitty
it's
scene partner.
inspiration.
Like,
Brennan.
for
That was
real.
beautiful.
For real. Look at this. Like, I'm...
I loved it.
yeah, absolutely. Like,
That was perfect. I didn't
really
plan
was
that. I really didn't. I didn't have like a, you know, thank you.
Yeah.
That was perfect. It was great. When you asked me to come, I was like, I wonder if there's a whiteboard because I'm so used to like, okay, now let's write on the whiteboard. I'm like, I need to show an example, and like that's perfect.
yeah, that works. We got you. Well, it was really great.
Time goes by fast.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Isn't that
I don't even have a watch. That's my
Isn't that?
oldest
It
joke.
is.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I know. Do we want to end with like a would you rather question?
We have 10 seconds to answer the question.
Okay.
Oh my god.
You can.
I don't.
Would you rather be a stage actor or film actor your whole life?
My whole life?
Yeah. No explanations.
Oh, that's no explanations. Stage. I know that's tough. That's been my life for so long, and
Yeah.
I love it.
I
avoiding
really
answering.
want
I
to
don't know.
explain if
It
I
makes
choose
me
it.
so-
It's okay. You don't have to. I mean, you're at New York Film Academy, so like.
You know what? I don't think I wanted to choose.
You made me choose. What the fuck? That's not fair. Redacted. I don't want to choose either. I just want French fries and coffee.
I don't know. I don't want to choose either. Okay, wait. Ask the other one. Would you rather wake up by having a bucket of ice poured on your head,
Okay.
or
Get hit with a painting.
wake up an hour earlier than you originally planned?
I never sleep, but I do want the sleep. I'll take the ice water. That sounds great, actually. I'd take it. Oh man, am I crazy? What, you would pick the hour earlier? I don't
Say
know.
yes.
I've done the polar bear swims. Those are nice.
Cool.
No, I would wake up
You know,
hour
I'm searching my answer. I'm going ice bucket because that's like a once in a lifetime experience. Because I'd never do it again.
Oh.
But it's like all the time.
But I'd have to.
Wait, all the time?
Yeah.
Oh, hour earlier. Never mind.
Hour
I don't
earlier,
want.
then
I don't
I'd
want
get
an
my
ice
schedule.
bath
That's what I'm
every
saying.
morning. Oh no. I'll wake up an hour earlier. I'll set my alarm for 3:00 in the afternoon. Shit, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Same.
It's beautiful.
Like
Would you rather eat one cockroach or an ice cream cone, but the ice cream is actually ranch dressing?
ranch dressing ice cream cone.
But
Ranch
like,
dressing
it's
ice
one
cream.
3
cockroach.
scoops. It's
Ranch
3
dressing ice
scoops.
cream.
cockroach, like it's
Like-
already prepared. That's like not like.
It's dead, but it hasn't been cooked.
Oh no, then like ranch dressing.
Ranch dressing ice cream
okay.
cone. Cockroach?
I really don't like ranch. I might just bite the bullet. I don't know. I've eaten bugs before.
Okay.
Not like, on like a playground.
I
Just
would
like,
eat bugs if they
Yeah.
were like cooked.
I had a cooked bug and it was very salty and tasty.
Yeah,
it was
I
good.
would
I was in
love that.
Mexico. It was
But,
great.
The mental, for me, that'd be tough. Like
Yeah,
when I was
I
in the
know,
wilderness,
Well, sorry.
love to. Yeah,
We
also,
can't end on that, can we?
we totally can.
We
Oh,
can,
shit,
and I
okay.
think we should.
Yeah.
I've been
okay.
told, Brennan, that's enough a lot in my life.
Lock it
That's
up.
acting. Yeah.
We usually end with like clapping. So
Yeah, we do.
Do you want to
Thank
clap?
you,
for
Brennan.
that?
Yeah, let me. Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh.
Oh, wait, what?
One,
Who clapped? Oh, like one clap.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna clap for you two because like y'all are amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, actually, I'm very,
so much
I'm
fun.
very,
So
yeah, I'm very
fun.
happy.
Thank you for
This is
having
great.
me.
Time literally flies.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
wish we had like
Incredible.
2 hours.
I wish we
okay.
had.
I'll
a
crash
whole
next
day with
time,
it.
you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
I can't just invite myself.
We're gonna
We're
invite
inviting
you
you.
back. You're already. Yes. Beautiful.
Okay, do
Okay.
you want to? 1, 2, 3.
Cut.
Woo!